And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So notice, when Eve has Abel, she doesn't really have anything to say. She kind of celebrated when Cain was born. She says, I've gotten a man from the Lord. Could be translated, I've gotten a man the Lord. Maybe thinking that he was the promised seed of Genesis 3:15, the first gospel sermon ever preached, that the seed of the woman would crush the serpent's head. But anyway, so she doesn't really say anything about Abel, maybe because she thought Cain was the promised one. Notice their different occupations. Abel is a keeper of sheep. And we don't know what all Abel and Cain and Adam and Eve knew, but I'm sure they knew a lot. They knew that there was a promise that the serpent's head would be crushed one day by a seed of the woman, and they also knew that when Adam and Eve sinned, they were naked, and that was a result of their sin. Something in their nature changed, well, actually a lot, but that God had to kill an animal to clothe them with animal skins. And so Abel wanted to associate himself with that. He associated himself with sheep, much like Israel or Jacob and his 12 sons did. That's what they were. They were keepers of sheep. And so Abel wanted to associate himself with the things that produced the clothing that covered Adam and Eve's nakedness. Cain was a tiller of the soil like his father, and also the a tiller of the ground. That was the part that God had cursed. God had cursed the ground, and that was going to be very hard work that Cain was going to be involved in. Abel dealing with sheep. Just very interesting insights on their natures and associated with their occupations, because we know how this story goes later on. But for now, notice, no celebration for Abel being born. Abel associates himself with the thing that covered Adam and Eve's nakedness. Cain associates himself with the part of the earth that God had cursed. I want to know if you have any other further insights on what has been said here and what's in the verse, maybe something I haven't even talked about. I'd love to have a good discussion with you in the comments.